Hey, Grace Harbor family. Brian Mooney called and texted and thought it'd be a good idea to give you a tour of the project here on the property. And I told him I don't like videos, and he said I'll be there at 5:30, so you don't argue with a psychiatrist. Anyway, we're going to show you around and let you see, but let me give you a little perspective. You know, we've been on this property for 4 years waiting for the city to say yes, and they finally did. To give you perspective of when we really began this project, the first demolition day was on a Sunday afternoon, January 12th. We weren't able to meet that morning because of ice, but it thawed and the temperatures came up, and also that was the day John Juvenile had pneumonia. The next day, John began his stay at Mercy with the beginning in the ER, and you know where that went. But that was our first day of demolition. The second day of demolition was February 1st, and the final day of demolition was February the 8th. And on February the 10th, the roofer showed up and the project really began. We've hauled off 100 yards of demolition materials during construction, so you're going to see a little different look from when you were here first. And by the way, you can thank me for those N95 masks if you still got them. We provided those for the demolition days, and we had no idea how needed they might be later. But I wanted to begin here, and Brian's going to be, just as I share some words about what you're seeing, he'll be moving the camera around. It's really about seeing the project, not listening to me or seeing me. But we wanted to start here. I'm standing on the septic tank as BBB has it planned, and this will be the main entrance that you're looking at here. You remember that's just kind of the walk-through between the yellow house and the barn itself, and so we'll have sidewalks that'll come from the parking and maybe a courtyard in there, and this entrance at the yellow house, you enter a hallway there, and we'll see that from the inside in a little bit. And that'll be self-explained as we walk through there. But let's go in now at the what'll be the main entrance, the welcome area. Take a look. We're walking over the old septic system now, the septic tank. That puppy's going to be coming out of here. The women have some good ideas. This will be a double door opening. Come into the welcome center. Done a lot of work overhead. Already have the spray foam in this area and in the barn area as well. That one wall that's on the north side of this, we think we'll leave, so we'll have just a little bit of a flavor of the original. And then the walls here, you might notice there's a door missing. Just thought that was wide. We didn't need a door going out to the old dog run where now the air conditioning unit's set. And so the plan is to have metal in the barn that you'll see in just a moment, about 4 feet up, and then wood, barn looking wood maybe at the upper 8 feet and a little lower in here. And Steve C will be putting some shiplap ceiling in this area. This is an area we will have a ceiling, and we won't have it in the main worship area of the barn. Haven't really thought about which direction to go first, but let's just go to the left here and walk into the yellow house area. This is where a lot of the demolition action was going on, and a lot of change has happened. When we started the demolition, of course, we just went wild and crazy and thought we were taking paneling off of the walls and that was it, but there was sheetrock behind that, and this was labor intensive, but it turned out really well. As Brian will show you there's a drain in the floor. This is where this sink right here will be sitting eventually. It's on the other side of the room for now. And that's what was required, and that's what we're going to have, and that'll be sitting there. We'll have, could think of this as a kitchen area, although it's not a cooking kitchen, and the refrigerator and freezer will be on one side of this little wall and one on the other. We kept this portion of the wall to avoid having to put in a major beam here for the support. And then when you look down this hallway, there's 2 bathrooms to the left, and they're nice size. They're what was required, as you would imagine. And so straight down the hall, there will be a window at the end of this hall. And then to the left of the end of the hall will be that entrance you saw from the parking lot a few moments ago. So you have to make a little bit of a jog, but that's just how it worked out. And this is a closet area where we'll have a mop sink and a tankless gas water heater in the wall, so that'll serve us well, no doubt. Brian's giving you a good look, no doubt. So we're walking back down the hall here, and to the left, let me just mention, this is a firewall, this whole long wall, and it goes all the way up through the attic to the deck of the roof. And so that's a major task that I wish we didn't have to do, but we did. And let me just mention, most of the work you're looking at, Derek Farnsworth, if you don't know him, you need to meet him and wave at him when you see him. He lives in that white house that's just to the west of John and Julie's house. They share the drive, when we pull in the drive, that's Derek Farnsworth, and the man has skills. And so when you're looking at the framing, you're looking at what he's done. When you're looking at this concrete work, he poured concrete last night where the plumbing was put in, the old slab. That old slab was 9 inches to 11 inches thick, believe it or not. And I don't lie, so you should believe it. And so that was poured last night. So we're getting close on the plumbing. Through this door will be classroom area. You'll see a beam and a post, and that post will remain. That's a support beam, but this will be one large room. And then to the left end of that room, there's going to be a room for mamas with babies, and there'll be a window down at the end of it as well. And then right next to it is another classroom. So we think we're making good use out of the space that we have, and that's really what we were hoping to accomplish, was use what we had, and it's really what we intended to do the first day we walked in this facility, but as I mentioned earlier, the city would not allow it. You see a lot of the conduit wiring hanging down. Those are can lights that'll be in all the roofs in this, all the ceilings in this area. This area will be drywall, maybe some, be the only carpeted area in the facility, but that's really what we need with children on the floor and all. So that'll be what we're anticipating in this area. Not sure what the flooring will be in these areas, but it'll be something, I'm sure. We're walking back down through the welcome area. Our old antique counter will be here, and there's some plumbing down on the end. We didn't forget the coffee pot. Plan for the coffee pot. There's going to be outlets in here that are up high for crock pots when we have those fun times together sharing meals. And then we come into the worship area. And yes, that's a duct hanging down. And that's going to provide for us the heating and cooling we've never had in here. And Brian will give you a good look at the ceiling with all the spray foam. We had to have some engineering done on just how to get the roof supported like it needed to be for a decking and metal roof now. Perhaps you'll notice that these are not the little windows that used to be in here. There were 4 little windows, and now we have 6 good-sized windows in this area. And as I explained a moment ago with the Welcome Center, this will be 4 feet up with, really just think of it as the siding of the barn itself, that kind of look with, I think, horizontal boards above that that goes up about 8 feet. This is the return air there for the unit. And they promise us that this is going to be sufficient for what we need. It's a 5-ton system that will be providing heat and air for this. You notice we have a new double door between the old garage door openings. Those garage doors were taken out by the tornado pretty much. And they were sliders, and these will be garage doors with openers that will lift up. And the team that was planning on the design for that picked out some really nice barn looking doors, and they're insulated. We'll be in good shape there. I'll just go ahead and tell you the story this week. We ordered 10 by 10 garage doors, and when Derek got to framing in the doors, he realized that we don't have room for 10 by 10 doors. That would bring them to the very corner of the barn. So Stable Doors, great people in Siloam, came out and looked, and they agreed, and they had done the measuring. So now we have these additional 1 foot wall that will be going in at the end of each of these. And so the new doors are ordered, and they'll be 10 feet tall and 9 feet wide. I'm hoping this gives you a little idea of just how much has been going on. I know Brian's giving you some good shots. If you want an outside shot just to see where the units are. By the way, while Brian's pointing at that wall, that's where I anticipate that'll be the front. We'll be facing that area like we've assembled in here before, and John has suggested, and it sounds like a great idea, to just have a big TV screen on the wall for our needs there with media and songs, instead of trying to hang a projector and screens, and that just sounds really like the right way to go. Of course, we still have the slab here. You might notice we filled in I say we, there was no we to it. Derek did some concrete work, got a little more to do since we took the board off, since he took a board off. But the old tracks there for the doors are gone, and then you look down what used to be a lean-to. The lean-to came down, I think, back on January the 12th, and that's the big unit there, and then there's a smaller unit for the yellow house, and the furnace is in the attic of the yellow house. Gives you an idea that we're getting close. In fact, when you think about it, since demolition ended on February the 8th, the roofers began their work on February 10th, so we're just a little over 2 months in, and so a lot has been accomplished. The electrician will be returning tomorrow, and he hopes to have a rough-in inspection next week, and after that, I believe we'll be ready for the insulating of the walls, and then we can start working on the interior walls as well. So we're moving in the right direction. Don't have timing, but we do know this: we've got almost 5 acres here, so we can meet anywhere we need to meet if we want to, and probably we'll have some want tos on some nice days. Wanted you to just have a good look at that, and not much else to see unless you want to see the little pink flags out in the field. But BBB's got a design for the system, waiting for the health department to come out and approve that. So everything's moving in the right direction. God is blessing us, and you're a part of the blessing and part of the journey. So God bless.